We just want to thank you all for being here. It is our privilege to invite the governors and some members of their families here to the Vice President's residence. We are thrilled that you all are here. We really do know the sacrifices that you all make. We know how much you serve your country. We know how much your families serve as well, and we admire every single one of you for stepping up for the call and serving your states and your country. I'm going to take this opportunity to tell you about one of my initiatives, because I've told hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that I would do this, and so they are counting on me. Last fall, I launched a campaign to elevate and educate our military spouses. And they have shared with me wonderful stories about what it's like to be a military spouse, to serve alongside your spouse in the military. We've gone all over the world, and we started by listening to every rank, every type of spouse, every service, every branch, and they shared some wonderful stories. I envy them. I'm not a military spouse. I haven't ever been a military spouse, but they shared such wonderful stories of having friends all over the world. But they also share a lot of challenges. They have some struggles being military spouses, and this is where you come in. Military spouses, you may not realize, move every 2 to 3 years. And if you can imagine moving every 2 to 3 years, they're usually single parents for a time. They want to be fulfilled. Our military spouses are highly educated, very flexible, very reliable, responsible people, but they want to be fulfilled as well. And imagine moving every 2 years and trying to find a job and trying to get your family settled and get them into school. They do have employment issues. This is the biggest thing that they shared with us, was the employment issue. The Department of Defense shared with us that 37% of the military spouses require state licenses. And this is expensive and time-consuming. And when I was First Lady of Indiana, I remember Michelle Obama and Jill Biden sharing this same issue with us. And when I became Second Lady, I thought this issue was solved. But because legislatures change all the time, and this is a state issue, this issue is a constant issue. Each state has their own rules. And so in each state, you have different regulatory agencies and different occupational boards. We've made a lot of good progress. I know some of your states are doing some amazing things, and you're in compacts with other states for certain professions, and it's amazing. But more work does need to be done at the state level. We're asking if you can look into the possibility of providing these military spouses temporary licenses, or perhaps expedited licenses. We're wanting you to ensure that the boards know the laws. The University of Minnesota, we went and visited them. They did a 3-year study, and they realized that what happens is a state will make changes, and maybe a certain profession, they'll say, yes, we'll expedite it, we'll waive the fee, let's get them employed. But the person answering the phone doesn't know that, and so it can be a very frustrating thing. But I just want to let you know that this is a great benefit to your states if we can help get these spouses employed. It improves your state economic growth and development. Also, businesses can grow, and we're asking you to reach out to some of your businesses in your state to see if they have some creative ways to employ spouses. We've worked with a lot of businesses, and they're trying to find ways. In this generation, we're able to telecommute. We're able to do so much where a spouse could keep her job as they move, or him. It also benefits the military readiness, and I think that's the issue that I want to make you all so aware of. Our military, if a spouse says, you know what, I'm done. I've done 7 years, I've done 8 years, it's my turn to work, it's my turn to live in our home state, then our military service members are going to get out of the military. So it serves all of us to keep our military ready, and it's the right thing to do. So I just want to let you know my staff has been partnering with several organizations. I'm so proud of them. Universities, businesses, Microsoft, LinkedIn, Hiring Our Heroes. I could go on and on and on. We're partnering with the Department of Labor and the Department of Defense, and we want to partner with you. And we really want to help you in your states and give you the resources. So if my staff, I've got them right here, if you're interested and you want to partner with us, Jana is my chief of staff and Sarah's my policy director. Just reach out to them and we'll get in touch with you because you, more than anyone else, you understand the sacrifices that your families are making. So you understand that these military spouses, it's the same thing that they do. And just to let you know how much we appreciate you spouses and your children who are here today, each spouse as you leave and each child, we have a special gift to you. And it's from the Second Lady to the spouses and the children. So please make sure when you leave that you get that. It's just our way to say thank you to you as you help us say thank you to our military spouses. Thank you. And now, the Vice President of the United States.
Well, thank you all for being here. This is a day that we look forward to every year.
We really do.
And if you are, how many of you, is this your first time in the Vice President's residence? Ours too. So welcome as your Vice President, but as a former governor and First Lady of the great state of Indiana. It's really a joy for us to be able to gather with those of you that are leading our states with such distinction. Some of you we actually had the chance to serve with, and we know your quality. Some of you are new friends, but I want to extend the warmest greetings to each and every one of you, and just to, honestly, just to say thank you. We understand the job, and hopefully today and in the course of this weekend, as you make your way to the White House for what will be a very memorable evening Sunday night, a working meeting on Monday morning, I hope you also leave here knowing the great respect that our family has for each one of you. And I also bring greetings from a man who I know appreciates the leadership of governors all across this nation. I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States, President Donald Trump. And he wanted me to thank each and every one of you for being here. And if you've liked the food, if you like the hospitality, I'll give you a chance to say thanks to the woman who insisted right after we were first elected to start this tradition with the National Governors Association. She's extended the hospitality here to you and your families. Join me in thanking the Second Lady of the United States. She did. She said right after we were elected, she heard about the NGA weekend coming up and all the governors in town, and she said, well, we got to have them over here. Because we never got invited, as far as we remember. It just wasn't a tradition. But I'm so proud of her for opening this special place to each and every one of you, and I hope it makes her a great memory. Let me also thank one of the great things, and I really enjoyed my time as governor of Indiana, and I also really especially appreciated the work of the National Governors Association. I know there'll be meetings of the different party organizations of governors. Those are great value, but I always thought that the NGA was really a very special forum that was emblematic of how governors actually really operate. And there's that old proverb that iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I always found that the time at the NGA was a time to really share best practices and ideas, find matters of common cause and purpose, which are not hard to find when you're leading a state. And when you look across state boundaries, they're often dealing with the exact same issues that people around the country are dealing with. So I really want to say thanks to the National Governors Association, and specifically to our friend, your chairman, Governor Steve Bullock, and also to your vice chair, Governor Larry Hogan. Thank you so much for being here, making this happen. It means a lot. Steve's going to have a word in just a minute, and after I finish off. But we really appreciate you all including this in the NGA schedule. It's a great honor for us, and hopefully is evidenced to each and every one of you of the spirit with which this administration approaches the work that each and every one of you do every single day. Let me thank one other group. Karen already did a great job doing it a second ago, but I mean, to know the president and the first family, to know the Pences and the second family, I think you can tell we serve as a family. And I think particularly in a role of being a governor and being a first family of a state and a territory, we know that the weight of this responsibility is borne as much by the spouses in the room who are gathered here today. So let me just say thank you to all of the spouses who are here, the first ladies and the first gentleman who are with us today. Let's have a round of applause for each and every one of them. Today is really just about fellowship and encouragement, and hopefully you'll have a chance to walk the grounds a little bit and see this place. The history of it is really unique. The first second family to live here were the Mondales, and in fact, Vice President Mondale and I were speaking about the memories. It's all right, you can applaud him. He's a great public servant. He's a great public servant, and I got a chance to spend some time with him when he was at the Capitol building not long ago. But we talked about how his family really inaugurated what's become an incredible tradition. And before you leave, I might point you in the direction. Just right out the front door, if you walk a little bit that way, you'll see a garden that literally commemorates all of the second families who've lived here and the extended families, the children and the grandchildren in those families. And it's hard for me to describe to you as a former governor and a friend of so many in the room just how humbling it is for us to serve here and to have the privilege of being here. But if the house looks like it might be a little bit older than the 70s, you're right. It was actually built in the late 19th century as the commandant's residence here. You're actually on a naval base. This is the Naval Observatory, which is a working naval base, but in the 1970s, this became the official residence of the Vice President of the United States, and it's not a place that a lot of people get around to be able to see. It's an honor for us to live here, and it's an honor for us to welcome all of you here. And I hope you leave with good memories. Let me also say, I hope you've seen in the last 2 years, those of you that have served during that period of time, that this is an administration led by a president who truly believes in state-based flexibility, innovation, and reform. We believe in our governors, and we believe in our state governments. The president actually referred to it as, I think at the very first meeting of the NGA, Steve, he said that his ambition was to have a true partnership of collaboration and cooperation with America's governors, and we've worked to do just that. And for some of you newcomers, you can talk to the folks that have been at it a while, but we're proud of the fact that we've worked with states to promote flexibility on health care, to give a greater voice to states in land management. Obviously, we've worked very closely with state leadership in combating the scourge of opiate abuse and addiction that so many of you have led with distinction on. We've worked to open up our natural resources to responsible development, and I'll make you a promise, and we'll ask for your help, that in this Congress we're going to pass historic infrastructure legislation that will rebuild the roads and bridges and infrastructure of America. The governors will play a leading role in that, and I have to tell you, if you haven't noticed, the American people elected a builder to be president, and he wants to rebuild the infrastructure of this country. And we're already in discussions with leaders in both political parties in the Congress, but since it will be states that deploy those resources and implement that infrastructure, we need your voices at the table about what those needs are. And let me make you a promise as governors as well. Not only are we going to look to make a historic investment in infrastructure, but we're looking to cut back the red tape so that we can rebuild America's infrastructure faster and more efficiently, with governors and states in the lead making that happen. Okay? But lastly, in addition to all of that type of partnership, and there are great friends in the room who have seen their states and their territories through great challenges in the last 2 years, I hope you all know how proud we are of the leadership that our governors have provided during times of natural disasters. We're awfully proud of Homeland Security, the efforts of FEMA stepping up in those times, and I just want you to know that we're going to continue to work hand in glove with your administrations. Whether it's the hurricane winds blowing, whether it's historic snowfall, we're here. Charlie Baker was in office for 15 minutes when he got about 15 feet of snow and did a phenomenal job for the people of Massachusetts. I remember it well. But we're here to partner with you. We're a phone call away, because we know it's those moments. It's those moments that people don't call Washington, D.C. They call local law enforcement and first responders. They call their state officials and leaders, and that's when you step into the gap and lead, and we're here to partner with you and stand with you, and that's our solemn pledge to each and every one of you. So with that, let us get back to just good fellowship again. It's an honor for Karen and me to be able to welcome you all here, really to pay a debt of gratitude as well to the job that each and every one of you do. I hope you leave here with confidence in the gratitude and the respect of the President, his Vice President, our entire administration for the job that you do, the burden that you bear, and the way that you serve the people of your great state and the people of this great nation with real honor every day. So God bless you in your continued leadership, and it's an honor to be with you all. Thank you so much. With that, it's my honor to introduce the chairman of the National Governors Association, Governor Steve Bullock. Steve, welcome, and thank you so much for coming.
Vice President Mrs. Pence, on behalf of all of our nation's governors, thanks so much for once again opening the doors to this beautiful home for us as we kick off the National Governors Association winter meeting and this long weekend. I still have fond memories of the two of you welcoming me to your residence when you were the governor and First Lady of Indiana. And I think to me that underscores kind of the bedrock foundation of some of the commonality that we really do have. We may not agree on every policy, on every decision in our respective states or the administration, but there's one area that we both agree on, certainly, or we all agree on, is that governors have a fundamental and meaningful impact on the lives of the people that we serve. And this weekend we gather to both collaborate, to discuss, maybe at times to argue, but also to illustrate the powers of the governors in a cooperative relationship with the federal government. Each and every governor in this room, as you know, both in service now and before, are the front lines of the decisions that happen here. We have to deal directly with the action and the inaction of Congress and the administration. Like you, we're often at times frustrated by the frequent inaction on the basic functions of governing that can happen in the city. As a former governor, I know that you are one of the few individuals that might actually understand the difficult decisions that we have to confront and make. And you mentioned so many of the issues that we've been working on, and also if you think from healthcare and education to taxes, tariffs, infrastructure, gun safety, you know the range of issues that our nation's governors face each and every day that we serve. And there's no substitute for the experience of being a governor provides. We're encouraged knowing that someone who sat in the governor's seat continues to reach out to us, both when we agree and when we disagree. We're so looking forward to both the evening, Sunday night, but also a robust policy discussion on Monday with the administration, the president, and yourself. Certainly, we all have real issues we need to confront in this country, ones that states and the federal government must address together. And I'm an optimist. As a governor and having 3 young children, you have to be optimistic. that together we can certainly jumpstart the wheels of cooperative governing again. So thanks so much for, again, kicking us off and setting us off on the right platform for the next few days that we get to spend together.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very thoughtful. Very thoughtful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you all. Enjoy lunch, and we look forward to visiting with you all. But welcome back to Washington, D.C.
I forgot my tie. Yeah, I still have the Indiana tie.